All right, let us say hello to Sean Woodson, who returned to the octagon for the first time in nearly a year, and he fought a gritty and tough Youssef Zalal and got back in the win column with a hard-fought split decision victory. Sean, good to see you, man. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Good to be back on.
Absolutely. It had been a minute since we had seen you in action. You had a lot of time to reflect on that walk to the octagon. How fired up were you to just get back to what you love so much, just getting in there and fighting?
Man, I was super fired up. I was counting down the days. It was a long 12-week camp. I was ecstatic. I was so happy from the beginning of fight week. As soon as I got there in Vegas, I was happy, felt amazing every single day. And walk out, everything was great. I was so happy to be there. Always am.
It was one of those cards that, I mean, there were so many fights and they were trying to keep with time. So we didn't really get to hear from you after the fight, but you spoke a little bit to the camera afterwards. And it was hard to really hear everything you were saying, but it seemed that despite the win, and I know that all fighters are their own worst critics, it doesn't seem like you were overly thrilled with your performance. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, not at all, man. I will say ring rust is real. I was one of them guys that used to say, oh, I don't believe in ring rust. Me and Dominic Cruz have, related with each other as far as that. We've talked about it. Like, we both don't believe in ring rust. Man, ring rust is real. I felt it bad. Warm up was great in the back. Everything felt great all fight week. I felt amazing. Walking out felt great. But yeah, the moment I got in there, I just felt off. Everything felt off. My timing, my speed, my, range. It just everything was off. It was like another dimension. It was weird. Something I've never felt before. And I definitely think that year layoff, played into it. And yeah, I felt off. I didn't feel like myself until probably the third round. I didn't start, really getting going until the third round. And yeah, I just wasn't happy with my performance at all. Happy I got the win for sure. But man, I'm so looking forward to putting on a better performance next time.
I know it's the first time it happened, but what is that like in there? Like when you feel like you're not yourself and you're feeling off, like you're in a fist fight. You're in there with the guy who's trying to finish you and knock you unconscious or put you to sleep. Like, what kind of inner dialogue are you having with yourself in these moments?
Yeah, I'm just making sure not to let it get the best of me. Not to panic. I've seen a lot of times in fights, guys will have a bad first round and they'll just, that'll just determine the whole fight. I made it a point to, I didn't let it get the best of me. I didn't fold under that pressure. Like, I felt something was off right away in the first, but I just kept telling myself, just stay tight, be on your defense and, we'll figure it out. We're going to turn this around. I knew that first round was his, hands down. And when I went back to my corner after the first round, I just, in my head, I'm just like, all right, that didn't go our way, but we're going to turn this around.
So it just became just keep the fundamentals intact. Just be fundamental.
Yeah.
Don't do anything crazy. Just ride the wave, and eventually you're going to get to the other side of it.
Yeah, just don't try and force it. I just didn't. I knew it. If I just stayed calm and stayed patient, that I would eventually, get into the fight. I would get going at some point. I just, I didn't want to force it and make, any stupid mistakes. But yeah, from the get-go, from the very first round, I mean, as soon as the first round started, it was equivalent to feeling like I had never fought a day in my life. Like, it was so weird, man. So weird. Something I've never felt before.
It's probably a good learning lesson for you. I mean, it wasn't the greatest performance, but in the long run, the next few chapters in your career, it's going to build upon that because you've experienced that before.
100%. Yeah. As not happy as I am with that fight, I definitely took some positives from it. It gave me a lot of confidence knowing that, even when I'm not feeling myself, I'm still, I still have the skills and the, mental composure to find a way to win, to, not completely, just crumble and everything go to shit, I definitely took some positives from it, that even when I'm, not feeling like myself, I still can make it happen.
Do you feel like a little bit of that mentality came from the Julian Erosa fight? Because that was the last time we had seen you, and you looked really good in that fight. It seemed like some of the momentum was kind of heading in his favor before the third round, but then you came out and you dropped him and you had him in big trouble before he caught you in that submission. And that's the first pro loss of your career. But something tells me, especially after what you've just been saying about this fight, you took a lot away from that fight with Julian.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you hit it right on the money. Yeah, I feel like, I learned a lot from that Julian fight, and I feel like that came into play this fight, prior to the Julian fight, and all my other fights, everything had went my way. So that Julian fight, when things started to, not go my way, that was like a learning curve for me. That was a learning experience. So taking that into this fight with Youssef, when that first round didn't go my way, I've been there before. I've been in that high pressure situation when, I'm not winning, I'm not dominating, things weren't going my way. But, because I was there before, I feel like, I was able to handle that moment, a lot better.
What had the last year or so been like for you since that fight with Julian? Like, I know you were supposed to fight in November against Jonathan Pierce, but that fight ended up getting scrapped. And then Kai Kamaka steps in and Jonathan gets the win and the finish. And I'm sure that was probably frustrating for you to watch. But what had the last 11, 12 months been like for you heading into this fight?
Man, just a test. I just feel like I was, constantly getting tested. After that Erosa fight, that was that was some major adversity I had to overcome. Dealing with that, mentally, and then having that fight in November lined up, and putting in a good training camp for that, feeling great, feeling amazing, and then boom, that getting swept out from under me due to injury, last second. That was tough. But yeah, I think it was just this whole last year has been just a testament to my faith and just doubling down on believing in myself and believing that I'm supposed to be here and believing that everything happens for a reason and no matter what happens to you, you can just take positives from it, you can grow from it and learn from it. And yeah, this last year has been a year full of things to help me grow. And everything happens for a reason. And I just feel like I've grown a tremendous amount this last year.
What was the injury, if you don't mind me asking?
I tore some cartilage in my ribs pretty bad. It was it was like the last hard session of training camp. I was going with a guy bigger than me, had me in a body lock, and I was being real stubborn with the takedown and just twisted and kind of contorted my body in a weird way. And right away I felt it. Rib cartilage tore, and it was pretty bad.
Did you try to battle through it and still try to get to the fight?
Yeah, I was trying to do my best. I still had a good amount of weight to cut, and it was just such a for the ribs, there's nothing you can do but rest. So it's I think we had a week and a half or 2 weeks left before the fight. So it's I could have sat around and completely rested it that time, but it's I still had to be active to cut weight. I still had to be moving around and doing stuff to cut the weight. So it was just a weird balance. It's if I sat and rested and tended to the rib, the weight probably wouldn't have got made. And if I kept moving to, make that weight, my rib wasn't going to heal. So, I was going to go into the fight real compromised. So I had to pull from that, which devastated me. I hate, having to pull it from a fight. But yeah, torn cartilage in my rib. It took about 6 to 8 weeks to heal. And ever since then, me and my strength and conditioning coach, we focused on doing specific stuff to strengthen that area so that doesn't happen again.
There you go. One thing I was curious about, and one thing that was definitely different from the last time we spoke, is not working at Glory MMA anymore. I know you had learned a lot from James Krause and Grant Dawson and the team over there heading into your last fight. In the end, was it just sort of, hey, look, it wasn't really broken before, so no need to fix it kind of a thing? Or was it the matchup with Youssef because he also has a relationship with James when James goes out to Colorado?
It was a mixture of both of those. So initially, it was kind of the camp and the guys I started with, what you said, it wasn't broke. So, no reason, try and fix things basically. So it's after the Contender Series fight, Krause reached out to me and said, come through, would love to work with you, whatnot. And, I'd be a fool not to, take him up on that. I spent, my entire career training here at home with my guys at Wolves and stuff. So, I had never really got to experience that big camp, with Krause and those guys out of Glory. So, I was like, hell yeah, I definitely want to go and, try that out and, see what that's like. And it's great. It's amazing, and I talked to I've done a couple of other interviews, and, I feel like guys are kind of painted out as I've just completely cut ties with them. That's not the case at all. I definitely plan on going and doing more training with them. Me and Krause still got a good relationship. We still text and talk from time to time. And, I got love for all those guys out there. The facility is great. The training is great. Krause is one of the best minds in the sport. But, I think there's two different there's two different guys in this sport. You got the guys that, they have to, get away from home and, get away from distractions. And that, puts them in the better mind state to train and, be them best selves. And then you got guys that, they do better and perform better when they're at home. Happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And I feel like that's, more my style. Just my team at home, it just works better for me. And, that outside of the training too, it's not just me comparing gyms like, oh, I feel like Wolves Den is a better fit for me than Glory. They're both great fits for me. But when you look at the total package, it works better for me at home because, here I got my, I got my recovery team. I got my strength and conditioning coach, my nutritionist here. Just being around my family and my mom and my dog, it just makes training as hard as I do every day, a lot more comfortable. And, I feel like I perform better under those circumstances.
Yeah. It's nice to log miles at first. It feels like, we're doing something different. It's like a new adventure. And then, it's in any line, whether it's fighting or, sales, anything. Like the more you travel, it's just like, oh man, like I could be at home doing this. So it's obviously. Yeah. So it's not a negative situation. Obviously it's just, better. And it was more geographic than anything.
Yeah. And for this camp, honestly, I would have spent a good amount of time out there for this camp. I probably would have spent a few weeks out there for this camp if it wasn't, the matchup, there was a conflict in the matchup. Youssef having the same head coach as James Krause, and, James Krause being really good friends with Youssef and really good friends with me. I didn't even want to, try and tie him into that. I thought, it just worked out better for me to do my full camp back at home for this fight. But yeah, like next fight out, I'm definitely going to go out there and, spend some time with those guys and sharpen up.
Good to hear. Good to hear. The fight itself was super competitive. Like the first round was pretty active, even though you didn't feel like yourself. He obviously wanted to take the fight to the ground. You were trying to keep it up. You're even pointing to the ground to try to lure him into your kind of a fight, but he kept his composure, a lot of clinching, a lot of wrestling defense you showed throughout the fight. Is that the kind of fight you expected from him?
To a certain degree. I knew I had a really good feeling that he was going to come to wrestle and try and get it to the ground, especially because of how my last fight went. But I wasn't expecting him to be as wrestling heavy as he was. He has a strong kickboxing background. If you watch all his other fights, he does mix in the takedowns here and there, but he, predominantly he likes to strike. So I definitely was expecting to do a lot more striking this fight. I was not expecting, him to pursue the takedown as hard as he did nonstop like that. But I definitely see him trying to mix some takedowns in there. But yeah, it was a lot more wrestling, a lot more of a wrestling based fight than I thought going into that.
The second round, you started to get cooking a little bit more. You're starting to land more. You were defending his takedown a little more. I know you didn't feel great until the third round, and it seemed like your pace picked up a little bit in round 3. But round 2, you were starting to have a little bit more success. You ended the round with the tight guillotine choke that it was nice. It looked pretty nasty, man. It looked pretty nasty out there. But everyone in Twitterland thought it was 1-1 after 2. Is that kind of how you and your team were feeling as well?
Yeah, I knew for sure that he had won that first round, and in my mind, the second round was, iffy. It was a toss up, could have went either way, and I knew for sure I had won that third round. So I knew it came down probably to that second round was gonna be the deciding factor of the fight. Yeah,
Youssef did not seem pleased by the judging. He felt like he got the big hose job from the big hose job from the judges out in Las Vegas. You felt pretty good about it. Like, where would you sort of gauge your confidence level when they're reading the decision? Were you like at a 10, there's no way I lose this fight? Or were you like, I don't know, the judges can be a little fickle sometimes?
Yeah. The moment the fight was over, I honestly couldn't have told you. Like, if you'd asked me right then and there, I just knew it was really close the moment the fight was over. But the moment they started reading the scorecards and I knew it was a split, I was confident that it was going my way. The moment I knew it was a split, I was confident it was going my way. I seen he was pretty upset about it, which I guess I kind of get it. I'm not trying to, seem like I'm talking shit. Like, I got a lot of respect for Youssef and his camp, but it's like, I don't really feel like he should have been that upset. I feel like, both of us could have done a lot more. Both of us could have done a lot more if the fight would have went his way. I wouldn't have been super. I wouldn't have felt like I don't feel like either one of us put on the type of performance where we felt like we could have got robbed, where we got robbed. It was a close fight. So for him to, be super upset, it's like, man, you could have done a lot more in that fight, for you to, be upset like that.
Listen, you get the second half of your paycheck. You went through a grueling fight. I know it wasn't the performance you had hoped for. Youssef is a tough out. You got through it. You know, do we take at least some solace here? It was like a big sigh of relief that it's over and done with. You feel like you didn't have a great performance, but you still got the second half of your paycheck. That had to make you like, whew, all right, we got through this. This is maybe as bad as it gets here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, yeah, I wasn't happy with my performance at all, but, like I was super happy I got the win. Youssef is a tough opponent. Had a lot of pressure going into this fight. Felt like my back was against the wall coming off that loss. Even though he was coming off of a 2-fight skid. I was coming off of, one loss. I wasn't 100% confident I would have got the same treatment as him. There's no telling if I would have lost 2 in a row, if I would have got a third opportunity. As far as I know, that could have been the fight. I could have been fighting for my job right then and there. So yeah, and as unhappy as I was, I definitely took some positives from it. I took confidence from it. That didn't feel good, but still, made it happen. And I'm just, man, I can't wait for the next one. Have
you watched it back yet?
No, I haven't. No, I'll get around to that today for sure. I've seen like little clips on Instagram here and there, but no, I haven't watched it back yet, the whole fight.
So you're excited to get back in there. What's kind of next for you? Like, I'm sure you don't want to sit out another year again and kind of deal what you just did. So when do you want to get back? And does anything stick out to you in terms of matchups?
Yeah, for sure. So I got a little issue going on in my hand right now. It's kind of fat. Don't know if it's broken or just some, just banged up a little bit. I'm going to get that checked out. Hopefully that's only takes like a few weeks to heal up. But I believe I got like a 180-day suspension. So the soonest I could fight is October, I believe. But so, yeah, I want to get back in there October, November. October and November for sure is when I want to get back in there. 2 weeks ago, I watched that card. I saw Josh Culibao pick up a win. Listen to his post-fight interview. He said that he would like to get back in there around the same time frame, October, November. We both fought around the same time, so turnaround time for us should be the same. He likes to strike. I love to strike. Same experience levels. He's 9-1. I'm 8-1. I think it would be I think that's a perfect matchup. I think like his last fight, he fought a one-dimensional wrestler who was trying to take him down the entire time. This past fight, I was defending takedowns the whole time. I think me and him, would duke it out. It'd be a striking fight, and it'd be an exciting one for the fans. I really want that fight.
Damn, that's a good one, man. And I know a lot of fans agree with that because we host a matchmaking show like the day after these cards, and that was a very popular selection.
I'm really gonna push for that fight. I've already hit up my manager about it. He said he's gonna try and make that happen. I hope he watches fights as hard as I do, and he saw me call him out afterwards. Hope he sees this interview. I'm probably gonna DM him on Instagram pretty soon and see what's up and see what's going. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure Josh would be more than happy to accept a fight like that and get to show more striking and not have to defend as many takedowns. But maybe this is gamesmanship on your end. Maybe you go out there and you start taking them down right away. Maybe we're planting some seeds. No, I didn't think so.
Hey, right now, I'm gonna be looking to throw these hands, man. It looks like a gamer, man. I feel like that'd be a really exciting fight.
Last thing, and since everybody's talking about it, did you get a chance to watch the Floyd Mayweather Logan Paul craziness, or did you do yourself a solid and stay the hell away from that thing?
I didn't even think about tuning into that. And I'm the biggest fight fan there is. I watch it all, like everything I can. If there's a live fight on, I'm watching it. But yeah, that's just a joke, man. Like I knew Floyd was gonna play with him the whole time. That's just silly. I mean, Floyd is super smart for what he's doing. Like I can't knock him. Like dude is a hustler, he's a genius when it comes to getting his money and all that stuff. But that ain't something I was finna pay for or tune in to watch.
Are you gonna watch Tyron fight Jake Paul on August 28th?
I will tune in to that because I think that's gonna be competitive.
I do too.
Like I know a lot of people are looking at it like, Tyron is gonna smoke him. Like that's a no-brainer that Tyron's gonna win. I don't see it like that. Like I think it's gonna be competitive. I'm interested to see how that fight plays out.
I was more interested in the Askren fight for like the circus of it all, but is like from a fighting perspective, I'm way more interested in this one.
Yeah, that Askren fight, that was, I feel like, that was too predictable. I knew how that was gonna go. I knew exactly. Like anybody I talked to, I told them Jake Paul is gonna knock him out in the first round, like quickly. they were smart with that. Like they literally picked the MMA fighter with the worst hands in MMA history. Like, they were doing, man.
Wild world we are a part of, Sean, this combat sports universe that we are a part of. It's crazy. But listen, congratulations to you on the win, Sean. Good stuff. Happy to see you back. I'm glad that you got over that crazy year of yours, and enjoy the victory. Heal that hand up, and we'll talk soon, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. Always great talking to you. Looking forward to putting on a better performance next time. And yeah, looking forward to talking to you again after another win.